Stocks simplified, profits multiplied. Welcome back to the Apex Investor channel. We have a huge update. I was not expecting this, but I'm so glad. I'm doing a separate video just for the news. George just tweeted, we are in full compliance, in his opinion, with SEC regulations. Now that management is off the blackout period. This is massive. This is what I've been talking about for the last since June, where there is a blackout period where they cannot announce contracts, deals, mergers, and so on. There's a period of silence. Now this period of silence can be broken because we are officially out of the blackout period. It says here, I will be adding to my personal position. So he's going to buy more of his stock, Metamaterials. And there's a quarterly update, Q3 update. I'm going to make a separate video for that because that seemed to be very popular. So I'm going to do that one as well. And we have more tweets here. This is all from yesterday, I believe. No, it's from today. Okay, it's from today. So the first one says here, roll-to-roll nano imprinting lithography sneak peek, Lord of the Holographic Rings. So I believe this is the business of nanotech, which is Metamaterials business since they acquired them. This is a three-parter tweet. It says here, fundamentally, disruptive technology is category creating. It is not only our proprietary designs, it is the proprietary manufacturing and process tech protected by intellectual property that leads to breakthrough applications in almost all industry sectors we touch. And that's a really good point and kind of is a good segue into my video I'm going to make before the end of the month regarding why Metamaterials is one of the best companies in the stock market, top 10 reasons why. And he just kind of summates it. He summarizes this, what I'm going to present, my thesis, you could say, where he's saying all industry sectors that we touch, there's so many industry sectors and industries that Metamaterials can get into and can have a big impact upon. Second part says we enable next generation performance while at the same time we don't need to rely on rare earths and scarce materials. Meta is the only company I know that can go beyond. I like that little subtle, here's our motto here, to offer up to 40 times our record for material performance improvement at a fraction of the cost. So one of the rare earths, one of the rare materials is indium tin oxide. I believe they use that for touch screens, and that is becoming more and more rare. And pretty soon they're going to have to, the phone manufacturers, Apple, Samsung, and so on, are going to have to find an alternative source for the touch screens, and that's where Metamaterials comes in. And they could certainly capitalize on that need, that demand, and become a massive, have a massive profit from that. The last part of this tweet, while our competitors get excited to offer 20 to 25% improvements and take many years for material development and discovery, the OEMs, that's the manufacturing that we meet, are hungry for next generation innovation and performance. So that's a very good update just from the Twitter. So we're going to move on to Wall Street Bets and see what they have for us. Okay, so we're on the Metamaterials subreddit, and the first post I'm looking at is another YouTube channel that is estimating what the price of the dividend will be. And when I looked at the comments, spoiler alert, but the estimated cost of the dividend will be, I believe, $29 to 40 something. Let me just wait for this to load again. This is unacceptable. So let me just give it a pause and resume. Okay, so the estimation is $29 to $46, according to this YouTuber. Personally, I think it could be right, but I'm going to be a little more conservative and say $10 to as high as what you said here, 46, maybe even 50, but maybe 10 to 40 is a little more realistic. But uh, I've been reading the comments, and some of the commentators have said she's one of the most, she or he, I'm not sure what their gender is, but anyway, this YouTuber is one of the more trustworthy people covering the stock. Hopefully, I am in that. Uh, hopefully, I'm part of that. But anyhow, that's her estimation, or their estimation, and I'm going to say, well, time will tell. But it seems like a realistic number to me, especially with the increased price of oil and gas. This could very well become a reality. So we'll move on to the next post. So the that YouTuber goes by the name of Roller Pigeons, and uh, based on my instincts and my impression of what they wrote, they seem to be competent in regards to oil and how much that's worth. So regarding the oil topic and the torchlight assets, I think they seem to know what they're talking about. Personally, I'm not an expert in that area, so I'm not even going to comment on that. Besides that, except for the price of the dividend, which I do feel is going to be between 10 to as high as 50. So it might actually be lower than their estimation, but we'll see. Just to be safe, I think 10 to 50 is a good range. But in any case, MMTLP is ranging between 1 or actually 70 cents to as high as $2-3. So it is still undervalued. It is not reflecting the potential reality. So this post is saying that Nanotech will be presenting at CES. I believe that's Consumer Electronics Show. So that is a pretty significant development there. Moving on to the next. Next piece of news is related to nanotech. It says here from the official Metamaterial Twitter account, congratulations to our nanotech team for winning the International Hologram Manufacturers Association's People's Choice Award for their work on the UEFA Euro tickets. So this is proof positive that not only are nanotech able to do what they advertise, but they are doing so in a quality way to the highest excellence, so much so that their peers can vouch for this. So that is a very noteworthy report development from nanotech. So that means not only is nanotech, they're able to do what they advertise, what they claim to do, but they do so to the highest of quality, so much so that they won an award from their peers, not just any organization, but an organization that knows what holograms should be about, what is good quality holograms. They won the award. So if there's any question regarding nanotech's competency and their the quality of their work, that answers it, I think. Follow up on my post where I was told by the forum my commentary was not supported when I asked, could nanotech or crypto need a physical cryptocurrency? So that's a really interesting question. I'm not sure if that's even needed. Does Bitcoin need fiat? Does it need a physical, tangible meta money? I don't know. That's wild speculation. But if it happens, it's going to be an incredible development. But again, I'm very, very skeptical about this. I'm going to take that with a mountain of salt. And the reason I don't think it is needed to have a physical cryptocurrency is because one of the biggest advantages of cryptocurrency is because it is decentralized, because of the blockchain technology. When when you convert that into a fiat or a physical currency, you lose those advantages of number one, being decentralized, and number two, of the blockchain, so that this cryptocurrency, now physical, can now be changing hands, and you don't know who was the originator, who was the original holder of this. So that actually makes it less attractive and less advantageous. This post is saying they did partner with these big names. Breakthrough solutions are advanced capabilities in both design and manufacturing of metamaterials are why some of the world's best known companies, Samsung, Airbus, SE, Lockheed Martin, and other confidential partners, choose us to co-develop breakthrough solutions. So that's confirmed. They just confirmed it. I think this is from the Q3, which I'm going to read in the next video, a third video just for the Q3. So yeah, it has been known for a while, but has not been actually confirmed, which is, it says it's on the investors page, and there it is, link to the document, partners and customers. So yeah, this is old news, but a lot of people are surprised because something so big like a deal with Samsung should have affected the stock to a greater degree, but because it seems that information was somewhat either it was censored or was just not released in a way to excite potential shareholders and current shareholders, it did not bring the price up to where we could see it going to double digits. But again, we'll see what happens. Crude oil prices fall as Biden calls on world leaders to tap petroleum reserves. Okay, cheaper gas means less inflation. I don't know about that. I think that's not the way to address the situation. It's only going to temporarily increase the supply. It's not going to correct it. No. Long term, oil is only going to go up. Although I can see a little bit of a pullback when you look at the EV industry just taking off, and more automobile manufacturers converting to electric rather than petroleum. The current price is largely due to oil prices crashing last year. It did three things we are feeling now. Many wells were shut in. Sandstone-based oil reservoirs are particularly poorly suited to this type of pressure imbalance. And for all intents and purposes, those wells cannot be turned back on. Number two, the crash was so severe, companies big and small had to cut staff and exploration costs, so the number of wells coming online this year is significantly smaller than it would normally be. And number three, lenders of the oil and gas companies took a big hit and are just now beginning to lend at the rates they were before. It says here, Trump could have embargoed non-NAFTA oil during COVID, and he avoided all of this. I expect that Biden will enact policies that will affect oil and gas, but so far we are feeling last year's issues. I don't know. I mean, why are they? I'm going to upvote that. I don't know. I think it is more fun that way. I agree. Why use profanity? It's I'm not going to downvote. I'll just let them be. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think the economy overall, the American economy is not as strong as it was pre-COVID situation. So unless it can get back to that level, I mean, it's going to be a big task to reverse things. So this is the tweet that I presented early on in the video, and we're just going to read some reactions. Yeah, I mean, people are so impatient. Well, why don't you just release the news now? And we've been waiting so long. He just announced that the blackout period is over. So give him some time. I think the end of the year, specifically December 28th, is going to be a inflection point in the price action of the stock. It's going to go from where we see it between $4 to $6, and then from December 28th moving forward, you're going to see that go astronomical to the moon, most likely in the $10 range, maybe as high as 20, and possibly even higher than that, depending on how much the dividend actually turns out to be worth. So another post regarding the blackout period. Yeah, I mean, if that isn't bullish, I don't know what is, and I agree with that. So, and there's a lot of people kind of being a little sarcastic there in the comments as well. Thoughts on metamaterials and nanotech? Are we about to drop physical cryptocurrency? I don't think so. No, I don't think there's anything to suggest that. As this poster is saying, I agree. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do our last video right after this, right after these two tabs here. So there's an interview with Ken Rice, followed by Dr. Waldron's live event. So time frame for GlucoWise, you're looking at 24 to 30 months. So that's the takeaway from this video. You're looking at least 2 years from now to as long as 2.5 years. So between 2 to 3 years from now, between what's that, 2023 to 2024, you're looking at GlucoWise going public and being offered to in a larger scale to the public. That's a realistic time frame. Yep, it is. So we could see this stock really take off in a huge way in 2 to 3 months. And I think Smokey is another YouTuber that covers metamaterials. I don't have time to watch all these other channels, but I think it's good if we support each other. Yeah, it's going to be a huge catalyst. Okay, so it seems to be Smokey is the one who posted this interview. So he interviewed Ken Rice. That's really interesting. I wonder how long this video is. Let me just see. By clicking play here, how long this video will be. And I'll decide whether I'm going to watch that. But in any case, we'll look at the Meta shop. Apparently there was an update on the metamaterial shop. It's no longer just glasses. Okay, it's 40 minutes, so I will not be watching that. Okay, here's an update regarding this video, this interview with Ken Rice. I'm not going to play it just so people will go and watch this video themselves. It's a pretty good interview that Uncle Smokey is doing here with them. So initially he answers the question regarding what is Meta actually doing with in the AR sector, and he answers that they have their technology to help produce possibly even hardware. I'm not sure if they're going to do the hardware, but based on his answers, it sounds like they're going to do more of a low-key role in terms of the technology. So they're not going to be being like a Oculus Rift or Nintendo or Sony, where they're manufacturing proprietary hardware. It sounds like they're going to be more of like an Intel or Nvidia, where they're going to be making the internal parts to then be outsourced to whichever companies would find that their technology useful or beneficial for their hardware. So he described Meta as an enabler to help other companies to have their products work according to their needs. Okay, I'm going to keep watching this offline. Okay, here's another update. So regarding the AR technology and the AR field, the industry of AR, Ken Rice did say it's worth potentially between as low as $2 billion to as much as $20 billion. That's how lucrative that industry can become. He also mentioned that their AR tech will be available at least 2 years down the road. And speaking of 2 years down the road, he's currently speaking about the GlucoWise product, and the question was, how soon could we see that go public? And he's going to answer that. I'm just going to play that in this video, just this portion of the interview for your listening pleasure. Here we go.
Tech Connect conference a couple of weeks ago, and my other role in addition to being CFO is I head up the medical division of Meta, and that's why I came. So GlucoWise is a very exciting product, and the reason it's so exciting is because it is truly non-invasive.
Yes.
There are minimally invasive products out there today that are very effective, and the diabetics are taking full advantage of them, but they still require some kind of an implanted needle or a scannable device that allows access to the interstitial fluid in the body. So GlucoWise for us is a 3-step process. We're starting with a benchtop version of the product that would be for homebound people and or clinical use in a clinical setting. That product, our target is to have it into the market within 24 to 30 months.
Nice.
And we're not sure we'll make it because it's right. FDA has their own timelines for things. But that's what we're shooting for. And then following on to that product, we're looking at developing a portable version that's the one that kind of shows up on our website.
The hand one.
And ultimately a wearable.
Ooh, yes, like the watch.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Let's see here, and of course we can't talk about any of the partners for that either, so
no.
Shh. Do you know if there is any plans to try and make the GlucoWise covered by medical insurance or Medicare? And if not, what would be an expected cost of each unit?
That's a very good question. Reimbursement is, at best, a complicated challenge. I think all companies in this space will strive to the extent possible to cause the payers to support what we do. So what we're doing with GlucoWise, which I think is very exciting, is we're not looking to satisfy a label claim that says that we can measure glucose to 4 decimal places. That's not the purpose. The purpose of our product is to help people understand when trends driven by their own behavior, be it eating, sleeping, activity, or change in their own metabolism, should cause them to think about altering their insulin dose, for example. That's something we're not going to claim that we can recommend they do just based on a reading from our system. The insurance companies, the payers, want to know that this type of tool is being used routinely because it really helps with compliance. So our expectation is that there will be some kind of reimbursement, if not full reimbursement, for the tool itself, and it won't have any disposables tied to it. So it's a one-time
purchase thing.
And there's no needle sticks, so people don't have to buy those.
People are going to love that. People are going to love that.
So, and you know, the meters that measure blood are reimbursed today, and they're reimbursed at multiple levels. So our plan is to start very early on with the payers to make sure they understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and why it's beneficial to them and therefore to the patients to reimburse it partly. I can't talk about pricing because we haven't decided it yet.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. I greatly appreciate this talk.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you so much, Ken.
Take care.
The next one's going to be great.
Okay, so that's all for that interview. That GlucoWise interview was really good and very revealing in terms of just what this product can do, potentially. So Dr. Ken Rice said that not only is it, first point is it's truly non-invasive. So that means no more piercing the skin, no more bleeding. Other products, I believe Dexcom makes one, and the other one is a Trades company. Not that he owns it, but he mentioned that company. I think it's Sensonics. They also come up with quote-unquote non-invasive glucose testing and sensing systems, but I'm not sure where Metamaterials GlucoWise would place among that. It sounds like they would be on the upper tier of truly non-invasive, whereas Dexcom and Sensonics are probably not truly non-invasive based on the comments that Ken Rice had made. And secondly, regarding no more lancets needing to be used or purchased, as well as the blood glucose strips, those two items in and of themselves are very expensive over the course of years. So we're going to probably see a pushback from companies like the manufacturers of AccuCheck and other glucose testing diagnostic machinery. You're going to see a pushback. They're not just going to go down without a fight. So they might actually do something. Maybe it's negative press. I don't know what they're going to do. But they're not just going to just let metamaterials come in and take their market share without a fight, especially since those things will basically be made obsolete as a result of GlucoWise. No longer using lancets and blood glucose strips. It seems it's like unheard of in the medical field to not have to need those things anymore. And essentially, even normal people that aren't medical professionals would then be able to track their blood sugar without the assistance of medical professionals such as a nurse. So that is very revolutionary, I think, in terms of healthcare, personal healthcare, self-care. This product of GlucoWise will really change the world in a lot of ways. And I think the stock will certainly take off depending on whether, number one, the FDA approves it, and number two, whether the price point will be affordable. If we're looking at a product that costs $1,000 that and above, that could be not a mainstream price. But if we're looking at 500, maybe. But if it's less than 500, then even better, because how much would someone put a price on no longer needing, the needles and the blood glucose strips? Probably $500. I think that is a good estimate. But if it can be cheaper than that, that's going to be an insanely good price. So this is the metamaterial store. I'm looking at 21 results here, looking at holographic notch filters. So there's a lot of notch filters going on here. That's what's being offered in their store. So there's 9 more items to look at on their metamaterial shop. I was personally looking forward to seeing a hat or a shirt, but that's not the kind of merchandise they sell, which is good because you don't want them to cheapen their the way things are, how they're perceived. Meta Air Aviation laser glare protection eyewear. So this again is on sale for $1,000 US or $999. Meta Air cameras, laser glare protection film. Wow. Ooh, this is a really good one. The law enforcement protection film. I'm going to open these and see how much they cost. I'm kind of curious to know how much those would cost, because I'm sure a lot of people who have their own security cameras for their house, residential, or a corporation would want these films to protect their cameras from people who use these hacks to try to disable their technology. So I'm going to let that load and just pause. Okay, so they are offering it on the store. There is no price yet, but that could be updated pretty soon. And I'm going to assume that the law enforcement laser glare protection film has no price either, but that is one that even I would like to get, just in case. You never know. Okay, so that's all for this video. For this news update, this is the weekly news update for metamaterial in particular, metamaterials. I don't really cover IronNet's news too much unless it's a massive megaton update, as well as Clover. We just basically, I look at the Yahoo Finance updates, because if it's big enough, it would show up there. But in terms of metamaterials, their news seems to be a lot more low key. It has to be researched. It's something where you have to do a lot of reading, a lot of like what I just did on this video for you. So we can see there's a lot of very positive developments coming up. And we're going to look at the Q3. I'm going to read that out for you in the next video, and that's going to be a separate video. So thank you again for your support, and tune in for the next video, which is the Q3 report being read out for you for people who just don't have the time to read it themselves. Okay, God bless you, and God bless your investments.